with our catalog of pictures, because it does show downtown Indy. It does show our brand and what we're all about. And like Dale said, we're local now, and we're the provider for the city of Indianapolis. So it's something that we really like to hang our hat on and super proud of.
So a little bit about our company. So as Kyle mentioned, as I said, we are headquartered right here in Indianapolis. We have, I would call it satellite sites across here. So we also have a lot of home store employees. So that's something that we do, is we don't just have our employees in brick and mortar. Great thing about IT is if you're not using it to your advantage, then you're not really an IT company. So we have a lot of employees that work remotely right out of their homes, and we have the ability to do that. We're the state-of-the-art service desk. We're a 24/7, 365 operation. We never close, regardless of holiday, regardless of whatever. We have a 99.999% uptime, which means, with the exception of designated outage windows where we do our own maintenance, we are always up. We've never had a problem servicing our customers. We're 100% U.S. onshore. That's a big difference in most companies compared if you're in the IT space. I mentioned that I work for Unisys. Unisys, probably 60% or 70% of my staff is offshore. We are part of our business model, and what makes us, I think, attractable to other companies, and even as an employer, is that we are a company that you never have to worry about losing your job in the IT field to someone offshore. So that's one of our business props. International implementation capabilities. So while we are 100% onshore, we have clients that are offshore. We have one client that's in 130 countries. So we have the capability to service our clients regardless of their location geographically, both from a field and infrastructure service. So field would be your break fix, your desk side support, somebody that comes out and physically puts hands on the system. And then obviously, hopefully you understand what the infrastructure side is. A proven track record in designated delivering automated IT solutions. So we are, if you've ever heard of the Gartner Magic Quadrant, Gartner picks 20 companies across the world that they put on their Magic Quadrant, and these 20 companies are looked at as the best of the best. And our little company right here in Indianapolis has been on the Gartner Magic Quadrant for the last 4 years. So when you think about all the hundreds and hundreds of IT companies that are out there, and thousands of IT companies that are out there, our company is one of the 20 that's selected by Gartner, which is an industry standard recognition. We're targeted, focused on mid-market, public sector, and select large clients. So we're a very different company because we don't just say yes to every company that comes to us and wants to do business with us. We actually turn away more business than we select, and it's because we are kind of a niche company, meaning we know what our sweet spot is, and we know what our sweet spot isn't. So while some of these big government contracts look great, and billions of dollars, and some of the Microsoft types of accounts look really great, which I manage Microsoft in my former world, it's just not something that we want to do right now. We do partner with a lot of these companies, but we have a select type of customer, which is a weird thing to say because when you look at our customers, we're in every industry that you can think of. So we're in banking, we're in financial, we're in manufacturing, we're in pharmaceutical, we're in, if you think about, so I'll give you an example. One of our clients is one of the top 3 defense and aerospace companies in the world. So that's one of our clients. And then we have Red Gold. So if you think about Red Gold ketchup and the manufacturing type side. Anybody here like hummus?
Oh, yeah.
Anybody in Sabra?
Yeah.
That's one of our customers. So we do their work for all their manufacturing plants and their corporate headquarters. But another one of our customers is the largest manufacturer of military warships and submarines. So if you follow the news, you've seen that they just recently, yesterday, won another $20 billion contract to build 6 more nuclear submarines. So if you don't know what it is, just look that up and you'll know who it is. But we do all their IT work and their field service work. So we have people on site in a secure, classified shipyard going inside of these naval ships and these battleships and doing the IT work for the U.S. Navy and this company. So that's the kind of trust that these companies put in our company, this little company here in Indianapolis.
So, and here's just some of our select ones as well.
Well, since you threw the names up there, defense and aerospace, L3, who just recently merged with Harris, 2 $40 billion companies merged together to become one of the largest global defense contractors in the world. Huntington Ingalls, that's our Navy shipyard. So we have, like I said, we have people on site in Virginia doing work on the stuff. We do all their IT work. IPS you see up here, so if you've grown up here, Indianapolis Public School System, we do all their IT work now. But again, you see different types of companies. So Calgon, if you've probably heard of Calgon, they're one of those that is in multiple countries. Epson, if you do printers. Epson's a really unique business for us because it's not just, it's the true definition of break fix in my opinion, because we're doing all the warranty work for all of North America. So if you buy an Epson printer and something goes wrong, and you ship it off to somewhere, it's coming probably right here to Indianapolis, and we're doing all the hands-on fixing whatever parts are broken. And that's not just printers, but that's also Light Pros. So if you're going to a classroom and you have an Epson Light Pro, something goes wrong with that, they're shipping it. Yeah, right there. So I was looking at that one. I'm really sorry to be there. So, so that one right there is a great example. So that's one of their newer versions, and probably in the last couple of years. And if something goes wrong with that, they're shipping it right to the facility here in Indianapolis, in Plainfield, and we have 300 plus employees sitting right on site there doing nothing but all the work to fix those and printers and everything else that has the Epson name on it. So pretty cool. ERCOT's a very large power company. Iridian's in the healthcare. You see the Indianapolis sign. Andrew W. Mellon Foundation, so that's another really cool one. It's a $1 billion foundation that does nothing but give grants to students and to colleges. So every single person that works at the Andrew W. Mellon Foundation is a former provost or somebody from a college across the U.S. So that's pretty cool. If you're a lady and you like those weird bags, if you're a Bradley, they're really weird. They look like big bags to me. Like it surprises me. Everybody loves them. I'm just not. I guess I think they're ugly. But it's that one of the one I'll call out is International Monetary Fund. So this is another huge one. So these are the economists and a lot of financial players that go across the world and probably, their headquarters is right across the street from the White House. So, they are a big time player in the financial sector, and anybody that knows anything about finance knows about the International Monetary Fund. And that's one that I mentioned that we service them in over 130 countries. So, pretty cool.
I wanted to point those out when you were talking.
Yeah, of course. Thanks. So you can read again. I kind of talked about this. Our focused offerings are on managed workplace services, data center, network security, cloud, mobility. So we're building out our cyber piece. We do have a small piece of cyber, and we're going through some of the criteria right now for that. SOC 2 audits that are required to be a player in cyber we just completed. We just got a report yesterday. We passed. That's a good thing. So, but from a digital workplace, so that's going to be like our service desk, the desk side support, the break fix. So somebody that if the service desk can't do the initial triage and fix the issue, and our service desk is a little different than some service desks because we do things that not your typical service desk would do. We do remote desktop takeover. We actually go into the system as an administrator and we can make changes to configuration. We do Active Directory changes, so customers trust us to go in. If you know anything about Active Directory, the easy way to put that is that's where all your permissions come from. And they trust us. We actually have permission as a super user to go into the Active Directory and build and turn off accounts, make changes to their domain and whatever. So, and most service desk level 1 agents don't do that. So our level 1 is really probably a typical level 2 for most companies. And then our level 2s are probably our level 3s. And if they can't fix the issue, then they dispatch to that desk side support person who physically shows up and says, yep, the monitor's broken, here's a new one. Or they just do a hot swap with the laptop or the desktop or whatever the case may be. Technology lifecycle services, technical operations, asset management. So asset management is another big one. Companies live and die based on their assets, right? If we can't track assets, if we don't know where they're at, we had one company that we went into, and they had over $900,000 of assets missing once we started doing an asset tag and asset configuration, building a CMDB. So it is very important to companies to know where their assets are. And some of these larger companies, when you think about it, if you're a $1 billion company, you're not paying attention to every single laptop you buy because you're buying 1,400, 1,500 at a time. And we had one company that a pallet and a half of laptops just disappeared. So it was like 500 laptops just disappeared. Never even showed up. Well, it showed up, but it never showed up. And so somebody had a really good Christmas because all their family got laptops. But if we don't have the right tracking mechanisms, these companies can lose millions and millions of dollars in assets. And so we do that for them. Infrastructure, again, so that's where your cybersecurity is going to fall. A lot of infrastructure projects, virtual desktop support, which I kind of talked about, remote infrastructure management. So again, soup to nuts from data center to integration to full-on rack and switch, configuration and replacements. We do all that. Cloud services, so cloud's the way it is now, right? Cloud at Azure, AWS, it's taking over the data center structure. So a lot of companies are moving away from that typical, millions of dollars in data center assets and data center space. Unisys is a great example. They have a building is sitting in Eagan, Minnesota right now. It's 1 million square feet of what used to be data center that's sitting there empty now because everything's moving to the cloud. So it's a lot easier to manage. The safety's there. Mobility services, again, we do everything from what today? Mobile phones, right? You can basically do everything. So we have processes that allow you from a mobility perspective to do everything, to set up tickets, to review the data, to look at your network and your penetration and all that fun stuff right from mobility services. And basically mobility allows you to BYOD any device, anytime, anywhere. So it's not just mobile phones, it's tablets, it's whatever is mobile. And then last, application services. So again, building custom applications and then supporting those, supporting existing applications. One of the top 3 maritime companies out there is one of our customers. They have over 250 applications. It seems like they're adding a new application every single day. It's an exaggeration, but that's what it feels like. Because every time they call it, hey, we're adding another one, we're adding another one. When we started with them, they had 1 application. Today they have 250, and they've been with us barely 2 years. So it's a lot of stuff.
Here's some other partnerships that we have.
Yeah. So these are more industry specific. So ServiceNow. Most companies are moving to ServiceNow. It's become the industry standard. Used to be BMC Remedy, which basically is a CRM, a customer relationship management tool. So again, if you're logging a help desk ticket, even if you're here at this company, if you call the school helpline because you need something, they probably log a ticket. They're probably either using ServiceNow or Remedy. And this is the ticketing tool that we use. It's the industry standard now. We've migrated all of our customers away from Remedy. We have some companies that use their own homegrown tool that they've built custom to them, and we help with those. But again, Amazon Web Services, Microsoft, VMware, Cisco, all the different certifications that you'll need from an industry's perspective. So if you're using PeopleCert or you're using CompTIA for your Net Plus and your A Pluses, Microsoft, which used to be MCP, now MCP's changed, it's a little different. But all those certifications, we're partners, we're a gold or better partner with these companies. So we have access to those certifications. We're putting our employees through those certifications. And obviously that helps because we're building our employee, which is another thing that's a little bit different from us. We're building our employees not only to work for us, but to go out to the marketplace. So we're training the marketplace and basically sending them out. And we're okay with that. We're okay with that. And a lot of companies are like, why would you do that? Well, because we know that we're leaving our footprint on the marketplace. We're just making it stronger. And what we're seeing is a lot of those employees that we're helping get those certifications come back. So if they leave, they want to come back. And the ones that don't leave, they move up, which is really cool. And I'm sure we're going to talk about that at some point. So, but yeah, you can see again, HCI, Microsoft, there's a lot more than this, but this is just some ones we thought would mean something to you.
And here's some other things that kind of set us apart from our competitors. So yeah, obviously we have the right balance of size, scale, and competency. So as Dale mentioned, previously there's some super large managed services providers out there that are very well known in the industry, and they obviously have plenty of customers, but that might be a turnoff to other companies that want a medium-sized company that can be flexible and service them the way that they need. And what's unique about us is that if per our agreement, we'll actually assign a designated team to your account. Okay, so it's not a luck of the draw that you call in and you're going to get somebody new every single time that has no idea about your account. You'll have the same 3, 4, 10 people that are going to help service you, and they're going to know your account inside and out.
Yeah. A lot of big companies, they send in the sales team that's sweet, that's great, they tell you everything you want to hear, and they sell you, get you signed, and they're gone. You never see them again. And then the people that have to do the work are left, and they're like, how do we do that? Well, the sales guy told me you could do that. Well, we don't know how to do that. So we take a very different approach. Our sales team is us. We have 3 people, I think, total on our sales team that's out across the U.S. because we can't be everywhere. But for the most part, their job is just to get us in the door. Once they get us in the door, myself, the CEO, some of our other executive team, we go out and we say, yeah, we're here to talk to you about selling you the business, but we're the ones that are going to implement it. So what we tell you is what it's going to be because we have to do what we tell you, right? And so that's how we win deals. And again, the city of Indianapolis was a great example. They down selected to 2 companies. One was us and one was a very large, one of the largest in the industry, and we beat them. Meridian, one of our healthcare clients, they were down selected to 2. One was us, one was another large, the company I came from, Unisys. And we beat them. It was so funny because I actually talked to them at Unisys, and then I left Unisys and came here and sold them. And then they were like, you have a brother? And I'm like, nope, it was me. You know? So I actually tried to sell them in one company and then implemented them in this company. And they got to see the difference. And so it's what makes us who we are. It's our sweet spot. And that's why we're very selective, because we're not that big company that's going to walk in and say, we'll do whatever you need us to do. We're just going to sell you and win you, and that's it. We put that personal touch on it, and they see us all along the way. And then once the implementation happens, they still see us. And they appreciate that, which leads to the one piece from Gartner that I referenced. You know, this was an actual client feedback to Gartner. Client references strongly praised Bell Techlogix transition skills, indicating transitions were well planned, well executed. References also indicated that Bell Techlogix consistently meets and exceeds delivery metrics and is sensitive to feedback about what needs improvement. Now, there's not a lot of companies out there that get feedback like that. What was really cool about this, though, is that Gartner takes 10 to 12 references. We gave them 12. 9 of them were brand new clients that had implemented with us in the last 12 months. So when you think about new business, what typically happens when you're new? You hit all the rough spots, you got to work your way through things, and then it kind of smooth out and get easy. Well, when 9 out of 12 customers are saying, yeah, we're new with this company, and here's what they did for us, and it was the best customer compliment I saw through Gartner last year was it was a non-event. We just heard that with the city. Several people from the city came to the CIO of the city and said, hey, you told us we were making a change in our provider. We didn't even notice. That's the best compliment you can get because it says you did everything right. So, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to touch on this at all? Kind of internal to us.
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, every company, big or small, has a vision, mission, and kind of a culture statement. And I'm not going to read this to you, but you can see. I mean, we want to be a recognized leader, but within a certain market, right? We're not going after, again, those billion-dollar companies all the time, but there are some billion-dollar companies in our portfolio. We pick, and we make sure that what we pick leads to us becoming a recognized leader in the IT and solution space, both from a commercial side, an educational side, a financial side. So again, we're not niching ourselves to a particular market type. We have customers in just about every single market space there is. It's just there's a type of customer that we want. And our mission is simple: deliver on our promises to our customers, our employees, our business partners, and our investors, and each other. We hold each other accountable. I'm a senior vice president. He's our HR business partner. But when I take him into a meeting, which is all the time, because he's my HR business partner, I introduce him as just that. He's my partner. If he says, Dale, I don't think it's a good idea, he has every bit of right to say that as anybody else on my executive or my leadership team. So it doesn't matter if you're an entry-level agent. We sit down with our agents on a regular basis and we say, what can we do better? How can we make your job better? What are you seeing that impacts your ability to service our customer? What is it you would like to do? How much more would you like to do? Do you enjoy sending all your tickets to desk side, or would you like to have the ability to fix them yourself? And what's the answer usually? If you're an IT person, I want to fix it myself. I want to learn. So we do things that keep our employees engaged. We accept their feedback. We put things in place to help them grow and help them grow our company. Everybody has an equal voice in our company. It doesn't matter who you are. That's really the gist of it.
Good. All right. So does anybody have any questions on us and what we do at all?
Yes, I actually have a few questions. One of them is that um, uh, what if you start out as an entry level position at Dell Technologics? Um, um, what is the opportunities for advancement over the years
It's
you
a
work?
great question. So that's a really great question. So over my 18-month tenure with the help of Kyle, one of the things that we've been focused on is internal promotions. I'm happy to say that over the last 12 of the 18 months, our internal promotion has been probably greater than 90%. And so, we have help desk level 1, help desk level 2, you have team managers, you have operations manager, then you have the GCC, our Global Command Center, or NOC, Network Operations Center, which starts to do more of the network side, and you have different levels there. Every single person in that Global Command Center started on the service desk as a level 1 agent. Every single one of them, from the manager all the way down. To give you a couple success stories, the CTO of our company started as a level 1 help desk agent. The vice president of digital workplace started as a help desk level 1 agent. The director of the Global Command Center, the senior leader in that organization, started as a help desk level 1 agent. Our senior operations manager in the help desk started as a level 1 agent. Every single manager, with the exception of one on the service desk, has been a level 1 help desk agent. So we take great pride in making sure that there are plenty of opportunities to move up, both within the service desk, within the Global Command Center, within the engineering roles. Multiple of our engineers are also former help desk agents. Desk side support and break fix, a lot of them are former help desk agents or have moved into that role. So there is a lot of opportunity to grow and advance. And as part of your, if we hire you, we expect you to be in your role from 12 to 18 months, right? Depends. Mm-hmm. We have shortened that for some people that bring in a lot of skill, but we have conversations regularly with you along the way, not only talking about your performance, but talking about your where you want to be, right? Mm-hmm. So your professional development. And so through those conversations, you would say, I'm really interested. In fact, one of our new associates just started last week or 2 weeks ago, sent me an email over the holiday and said, I want to talk about what it takes to get into engineering. I know I'm new, but I want to start having that conversation now. And I'm like, great. That's the way our company works. An entry-level associate sending me an email, the guy that reports to the CEO, the number 2 guy, right? And saying, I want to talk about what it takes to be an engineer. And I'm like, absolutely, let's have that conversation. That's how we do it in our company.
Another question is that does Bell Technologics do you guys work with and hire people with disabilities?
Absolutely.
Because I have high functioning autism and ADHD, and from what you guys are telling me so far, you guys seem like a really good, honest, good company, to work at, and from what he told me about, starting out as, a level 1 agent and getting to a much higher position, over the years, it seems like your company is, a company that I could see working at and stuff.
Well, first off, I appreciate that. Yeah. Second of all, thank you for sharing your story. Mm-hmm. I can tell you that I have a daughter who has high functioning autism, so I understand.
No way.
Absolutely. She's 20 years old. She's the love of my life, and I deal with with her challenges of trying to find a job on a regular basis. And we've actually talked about having her work. So one of the great things that I mentioned earlier for someone like you is that if you have a specific structure that you prefer, i.e., if being in a room with a lot of people is something that kind of triggers you, we have the ability to have you set up in your own home where you're most comfortable and you can work exactly like you would work in an office. So we have things set up for things, for any type of situation. In my former world, I hired blind people, which is like, okay, well, how do you do a call where you're seeing a screen if you're blind? Well, there's software out there that can help you through that. It takes a little longer to train you, but we don't care about that. So if you have the qualifications and you want to work for us, our job is to help you find a way to do so. You want to add anything to that?
No, exactly. As long as we're taking care of our customers and our employees, that's what's important to us.
That's right.
And a lot of times we are able to have those win-win outcomes.
And one thing is that I just started my ITSP 135 and Informatics Fundamentals this 8 weeks, and I'm just now starting, my classes in my informatics degree, and next semester I'm going to be taking my, class for A+ certification, and would you guys would you guys hire me even though I'm starting in my informatics degree, even if I only have one certification and I'm getting started?
Yeah, so different jobs require different certs, right? At a level 1 help desk, I mean, we could easily work with you if if you have what we're looking for from the aspect of, we're not looking necessarily for a lot of certifications. Certifications definitely help. Again, if you have Net Plus and A Plus, then we know you're technical, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have Security Plus, we really know you're technical. Because I'll tell you, that was the most humbling experience personally that I ever had. I tell the story all the time. I was a little bit cocky, and I took the practice test for A+. I thought, well, I've got certs. This won't be that hard. I missed the first 10 questions in a row. And I was like, wait a minute, something's wrong here. I did get the next 25, but I missed the first 10. It's just because I wasn't thinking the way I needed to think about that test. So the answer to your question is yes. We can work with you. We'll help you through some of those certifications. We have a lot of people in school. That's why we're here today, because this is a great talent pipeline for us. And our goal is to help you get where you want to go. So if you're taking informatics and you want to get into the informational side of data mining and data integrity, we have positions like that we can bring you towards. If you're trying to take it a different direction, we can go with you in that scenario too. If you're trying to use it to get into more of a project management in the IT field, we can help you through that as well. So we have all those positions.
Wow.
And not only can we help bring you, but we can also shadow you with the people that are in those roles, which will help you take your theoretical and see it from a practical.
Mm-hmm. One thing is that, particularly for me in my informatics degree, I want to get into like the computer side of things, video games and stuff like that. I actually have an idea for a massive multiplayer online game I'd like to go develop, besides working on computers and technology inventions and stuff.
I'll tell you what,
That's a perfect segue. You must have been reading my slides earlier. Because actually, before we get started on my portion of this, I've got a question to you guys. I want everybody to take out a piece of paper, and I want you to write down what it is that you want to be when you grow up. Okay?
We use our phones.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. I wouldn't expect anything more from an IT class. Yeah, just take a minute. Write down what are you looking for out of your adult job, and what's your career going to be. All right. As soon as you have that written down, put that off to the side. We're going to come back to that later, okay? All right, second question I have for you. Who likes beer? Does anybody like beer?
No.
we can be honest.
Yeah. It's probably too early for a beer right now. But yeah, once 5 o'clock hits, we're all good. Dale, I know you like partaking in some beer. So
I'm looking at beer right now.
yeah. All right, so the reason I bring this up is I want to talk to you about how do you craft your career, okay? And when I think about crafting a career, I think of craft beer, okay? You got to have ingredients, you got to have patience, and you got to have skill, okay? So I'm going to talk to you about those 3 things that we can equate that to your career, all right? So first thing, what are the ingredients? What do you need in order to have a successful career in IT? All right. Here's some of the things that I thought of. I'm sure there's a lot more that we can come up with. But some of the most important things that we look for, and some of the most successful employees that work for us, have a lot of these skills and qualities. So work ethic, knowledge, accountability, collaboration, teamwork, professionalism, and communication. So let's go down the line here and talk about each one of these. From a work ethic standpoint, I tell you what, that's something that I feel like you're kind of born into it. You either have it or you don't. But I have seen a lot of folks that didn't initially have it, and somehow they learned it, or it was pounded into them that you need to have this work ethic. And I've seen a turnaround, and it's been great. So the first part is you got to have the want, you got to have the drive, and you got to show up to work. All right. I give our new hire orientation every single week, and then every single week I talk about our attendance policy. Okay. And we have an attendance policy, but honestly, I've never really even looked at it. Okay. Because I equate attendance to performance. I've been doing this a long time. I've not met one exceptional employee that doesn't show up to work. Never. Not once. Now, if you guys can show me that you can be exceptional and not show up to work, I'd love to see how you can do it, because I could totally get behind that idea. But until then, you got to show up to work, okay? So that's the first thing. Second thing, knowledge. All right, so we talked about certifications and on-the-job training. Obviously, you're on your way to getting your degrees, so you gotta have some sort of foundational knowledge in order to be successful in your career. So you guys are well on your path. The cool thing about IT is that it's ever changing, and you can always learn more. Okay, there's always new technology coming out. There's always new certifications coming out. There's always tweaks to how things are done. So you're in a great industry if you like constantly learning. Accountability. That's really huge for us. That was on, that's part of our core value. And how we define that is do what you say and say what you do, okay? If you say you're gonna do something, then we expect you to do it, all right? And, we like folks that lead by example, all right? So it's very important that you're setting the tone, and that's contagious within a workforce. Collaboration and teamwork. We are a very collaborative, we work in a very collaborative environment, okay? So there's not one single department in our organization that is siloed and can be successful by themselves. There's not one. In HR, I have to have all of our groups be successful in order for me to be successful. Dale, he heads our service desk. We have to rely on, our service desk has to rely on a lot of different groups in order for them to be able to do their jobs well. So if you can't work with people and collaborate, and on top of that, we also have a large amount of folks that work remote or at our client sites. So you have to learn how to collaborate remotely as well. But if that's a struggle for you, my suggestion is learn how to work with others, okay? Because there are very few roles within the IT industry. There's none within our organization, and there's very few within the IT industry where you can just be successful by yourself. Professionalism. So that's huge for us, and it should be huge for you too, okay? The environment that we're in right now and the job market that we're in is extremely competitive, okay? So I don't know if all of you know, the unemployment rate is hovering around 3 to 4% right now, which means that basically the people that aren't working is because they don't want to work, okay? If you want to work, you can find a job, all right? There's plenty of them out there. So you have to be professional, and you have to have a personal brand, and you have to make yourself stand out, okay? Now, professionalism is important to us because we are client-facing, okay? Specifically our service desk, right? Our service desk is the face of our organization to our clients. So when our clients come into our facility, the first thing they see is our service desk. When our clients call in and say, hey, my printer's not working, the first person they're talking to is our service desk agents. So we got to be professional. We got to cater to our clients. We got to have good customer service, and you got to have a good, you got to carry yourself well. And then lastly, communication. Yeah, that's important in IT, but frankly, that's important in any job that you ever have. Okay, I don't care if you're a bartender. I don't care if you're a senior VP. I don't care if you're in HR or in IT. You got to be able to communicate well. That should be pretty self-explanatory. So talking about knowledge and just going on and on about that, we've covered that a little bit. Once again, you guys are getting that foundation that you need going towards your degree. Here's some of the certifications that a lot of our employees go after or or have achieved. So once again, you'll always want to be constantly learning. You know, I would equate your journey with your career as just being a sponge, okay? Soak up everything that you can. Soak up all the knowledge you can get, soak up all the experience that you can get. Take any opportunity to where you're going to learn and better yourself. You're going to be doing yourself a service if you do that.
So thinking about IT, foundational knowledge of IT practice is important. ITIL, if you've never heard of it, you need to look it up. ITIL is the standard. Right now they're moving, in fact in March they're going to change from version 3 to version 4. But ITIL Foundations is something I think all of you will benefit from to understand just the IT framework and methodology, because almost every company that you're going to go to work for in the IT field is going to follow ITIL type functionality. So ITIL, and you can look up version 3 or version 4. Foundations tests that are out there, they're about $750, but they're out there. But you can do a lot of the learning without actually taking the test, and it will make you a lot more marketable as you go in and start interviewing for different companies in the IT field for whatever job you're looking at. If they see that you have ITIL in your background, it's going to benefit you. So just so you know that.
Yeah. All right. So remember, we're getting back to our craft beer analogy, right? So I think of knowledge as the hops, right? Can't make beer without hops. You can't work in IT without having a foundational knowledge. So whether that be with getting your degree, whether that be with getting these certs, whether it's ITIL, you know, make sure that you have the hops. Talk about professionalism, but once again, how you portray yourself matters. And I know within the IT industry, you know, there's a stigma that it's super laid back, it's chill. You know, you can come as you are. Yeah, there may be some spots like that, and there might be some opportunities where you can be chill and whatnot. But with us, professionalism is key. Okay, so we have our service desk wear polos when they're at work. You know, obviously Dale and I, we're very client facing, so we want to present ourselves well. It's important for you to present yourself well because, once again, think about how competitive the marketplace is. We have multiple interviews weekly, okay? And the first thing, you know, the first glimpse that we get out of a candidate is their presentation, how they present themselves. So when we debrief at the end of the week and we say, all right, we had these 5 people. 4 of them came to the interview in suits. They were, you know, freshly shaven. They were put themselves together well. 1, yeah, not so much. Didn't present themselves well. That 1 might be the most knowledgeable out of all of them. But we're going to go with these other 4 because they present themselves well, and we don't have to worry about putting them in front of clients. Okay. So you want to make yourself stand out. Okay. This all goes back to your personal brand and how you carry yourself, how you communicate, you know, how you handle conflict. All that goes towards your professionalism. So I'll say that professionalism, when we're talking about ingredients, you got to have water in order to make beer. Okay, so we'll say professionalism is the water. And then communication. Okay, once again, not to beat a dead horse here, but no matter what position that you have, whether it's in IT, whether it's in something else, you got to be a good communicator. And you know, once again, I think there's this stigma out there within the IT arena that you know, IT professionals, they're not good communicators, and they don't like interacting with other folks. They'd rather sit behind a computer screen all day. Okay, there are jobs out there and there are opportunities out there. If you don't like talking with humans and interacting, you can, you know, interact with a computer all day. But they are becoming far and far between because we're working in a collaborative space. Okay, so knowing that, you want to make sure that your communication skills are on par. Okay, so what skills do you need? Obviously, you know, like I said, a brewmaster, they got to have the right ingredients. they got to be skillful as well. Okay. You can have the best ingredients in the world, but if you don't know how to put them together, you're going to make a pretty crappy beer. You're not going to sell it, and nobody's going to want to drink it, right? You equate that to your career. You might have the most knowledge ever. You might have the best ingredients and everything working for you, but if you can't put it together and be skillful, nobody's going to hire you. Okay, you're going to have a hard time setting yourself apart. So here's some things from a skill standpoint that I think are very important for you. Obviously, you're on your way to getting your degree, certifications. Dale's hit on that. On-the-job training and experience is very important. Okay. Once again, think about it. You want to be a sponge. You want to get as much experience as possible. So if you can get an internship, that'd be awesome. If you can have a part-time job while you're going to school and get some real-world experience, that's great too. Anything that you can start learning about and get that real-world experience is going to be beneficial to you. Okay, and it's going to be beneficial to you for a couple reasons. One, you're going to be able to put that on your resume. You're going to be able to speak to that in an interview, and you're going to be setting yourself apart from others that are competing for that job. The second thing you're going to be able to do is you might get that experience. You might say, "Yeah, not for me. No, I don't want to do desktop support. I don't want to do IT engineering, or I don't want to do break fix." Well, how do you know if you don't get that experience, right? So look at it as a learning opportunity, and go into it open-minded. Soft skills, extremely important. Okay, so we have a performance equation that we have with our employees when we're doing performance evals. Okay, it's the what plus the how equals your performance. Okay, the what is your everyday job, right? How many tickets are you handling? How quickly are you handling those tickets? How many are you escalating to level 2 versus how many are you handling yourself? Those are the what and the responsibilities, and those are the outcomes of what your day in and day out is, right? But it's also important the how, okay? The how is the behavior behind your performance. How are you working with others, okay? How are you servicing our customers? Are you not very helpful when you're talking to a customer over the phone? So does that mean your customer satisfaction scores are low? Are you always in a conflict with another employee? Are you constantly late or not showing up? Those are just as important to the what, okay? You can't have one without the other if you want to be an exemplary employee. So soft skills are extremely important. And when I talk about soft skills, I'm talking about the how. Okay, those are the behaviors that you need. And then personal brand. Okay, so we talk about professionalism. We talk about how do you make yourself stand out, and your job in an interview should be that me and Dale walk away and we say, get an offer out to him right now. Like I've had 20 interviews this week, but I remember that one person. Okay, that should be your goal when you walk into an interview. You want to make yourself as marketable as possible. So part of crafting beer as well is it doesn't happen overnight, okay? Right? It's a slow process. You gotta work out the kinks. You gotta get some experience with it. I'm sure I personally never brewed any beer, but if you talk to a brewmaster, they say, yeah, my first 10 batches were pretty awful. But you know what? That 11th one, that was the sweet spot, and that's when I started getting the hang of it. Think of your career the same way, okay? Dale brought up some of our success stories within our organization. Yeah, our CTO started as an L1 associate 23 years ago, okay? It's not that he got a year of experience on the service desk and then became a CTO overnight, okay? Our senior VP has been with the company for 18 years, all right? So they've been crafting their skills and honing in on their skills and working their career to be successful. All right, you need to do the same thing. Be patient. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Take advantage of all the opportunities that come to you. Remember, you want to be a sponge, right? Figure out what you like doing and what you don't like doing. And when you're able to show that you're valuable to a company, they'll value you, okay? And this is going to help you in the long run. So when we look at our service desk and we see a gap, and we have a service desk agent come to us and say, hey, you know what? I think I have a solution for that. We're like, great. You don't need permission. Go ahead and do it. Come back to us if you need help. Let us know how it works out. That's a great opportunity to not only help the company, but help yourself. So that when promotions come up, when we have an engineering opening, Dale and I are going to look back and we're going to say, hey, remember that person that helped us solve that problem for that one client? I think they're ready for that next step. So you got to be patient. So here's some more tips and suggestions on how you can craft your career. So very important to network, all right? Some of our most successful hires have been referrals, okay? My last, 3 or 4 jobs that I've had, I've been referred to, okay? You can find opportunities out there if you seek them, all right? Talk to everybody. Be well known in the industry. Learn about the big players. Learn more about us. Learn about other companies. Talk to folks. Talk to your friends. You can never, not network enough. It's a very important skill because once again, you got to stand out in the crowd. Okay, I'll tell you, if we have 2 candidates that come in and interview with us, one was straight off the street, just applied to the posting and came in. And the other is a referral from one of our most successful employees, and they both have the same skill set and the years of experience. We're probably going to go with that person that was referred, right? So do yourself a service and make sure that you're networking. The other thing I would say is know what you're good at and know what you're passionate about and combine those, okay? The reason I got into HR is because I feel like I'm a good communicator and I can help people, and that's actually what I'm passionate about. I like coming to talk to folks. I like presenting. I like helping solve problems. So I've taken what I'm good at and what I'm passionate about and morphed that into my career. You can do the same thing within IT, okay? So figure out what are the certain responsibilities you like taking on, what are the particular things that you're good at, and figure out, okay, there's a job out there that is 75% of that. I'm going to tell you, it's probably not ever going to be 100%. I like a lot of stuff in HR, but don't ask me to manage benefits, okay? That's not my bread and butter, and I don't enjoy doing that. But if you can find a job that you enjoy and you're good at about 75% of that stuff, you're in a good spot. Find a mentor, okay? Find somebody that's going to champion for you and help you get the experience that you need, and also give you the feedback that you need as well, okay? All of us think that we're the best in the world at everything, and we have a high vision of ourselves, but sometimes you need that mentor to say, look, here's some feedback for you. Here's some things that you're doing well. Here's some areas that you can improve upon. And you can't do that without having a mentor. And last, I wouldn't forget about the intangibles, okay? Once again, yeah, we look for people that have a foundation in IT. We like the degrees, we like the certifications, all that's great. But if you don't handle conflict well, if you're not a good communicator, if you're not a team player, all those things that are outside of a resume, you're not going to be very successful for us or any other employer. Okay, so let's recap. All of you did some homework before we started, right? I want you, I'll take a couple of volunteers if anybody wants to share. Tell Dale and I, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to get in the networking and IT security field.
Okay.
Like the network architect part of the job, and maybe handling the network and being an admin and make sure it's secure. That's something I've wanted to do for a long time.
Good, awesome.
Yeah, I want to be a consultant in the cybersecurity field.
Okay, awesome.
So consultant in cybersecurity?
All
For me, what I'd like to be is that I want to be a technology inventor and a video game designer. And how I'm gonna be able to get there is something that my dad taught me. Start at the bottom, work my way up.
That's great advice.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else? Yes.
I want to be president of Ivy Tech.
Okay, all right.
Good deal. Go home, right?
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
So remember, crafting beer in your career, it can't happen overnight. Okay, so you start making sure that you get a mentor, you
I'm
start
already
getting some
there.
experience,
I'm
and
already there.
you'll be there in no time. All right, so yeah, I just wanted to chat with you about that. I want you to start thinking about that. It's good to know where you want to go, and then you can help others, others can help you on how to get there. Okay. But if you're just wandering aimlessly, you're going to be doing that forever. All right. So figure out the destination, and then we can help you on how to get there.
Kyle, can you share how your entry-level job would be beneficial to all three of those positions?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
Because we talk to students a lot about you need to just get your foot in the door and get
That's right.
working.
Right.
And then you're like, oh, help desk. I don't want to be in help desk. I want to be in cybersecurity. I want to
Yeah.
be here. So can you speak to that a little bit?
you want to take this first?
Yeah,
I've
sure.
got some ideas on it, but
So the first thing is that sometimes the hardest thing is getting in the door, right? I've talked to people all the time that say, I've applied for a role with your company 5, 6, 10 times and never been able to get through. So getting your foot in the door is important. Then the second piece of it is utilizing that opportunity. I mean, Kyle talked about opportunities, and I see opportunities as a gift. Because every opportunity you have a chance to do is going to show you what you do want to do or what you don't want to do. You may think you want to go into networking, or you may think you want to go into the cyber, and all of a sudden you see something because you got the foot in the door and you're like, oh, I like that better. I mean, it's like what Kyle said with his degree. I was the same way. My first degree was in criminal justice. And I was like, I don't use that. I feel like I got a degree in underwater basket weaving because it's about the same for me right now. You know, and so it was only once I started getting opportunities that I started to tailor myself into the role where I really ended up enjoying what I do. But the help desk exposes you to so many opportunities within the IT field because you're not just taking calls for the same old thing over and over and over again. It's not just customer service over and over and over again. I mean, again, you're getting a chance to go in and be an administrator within a system, making configuration changes. You're getting exposure to a lot of different pieces of IT that will kind of help mold and scope your thought process, and then you can grow off that. And you say, okay, well, first time I was able to take it to this point, but now as I've grown my education, I can take it to this point. Or now maybe I'm making a change to my company because we had level 1 agents that started writing scripts on that help fix things automatically, as I call it, right? And now we're able to save money so that this person has figured out a way to help the company, and he found a new niche for himself where he wants to do something different than what he originally thought, right? And writing scripts and things of that nature, while it sounds rudimentary, it's not that at all when you think about all the different pieces and all the different networking side of things that have to tie into that and the hooks that have to go into that. So,
yeah. So everything that Dale said, the only thing I would add is that it helps you hone in on those intangibles. Okay, so it helps you work on your work ethic. Okay, our service desk is 24/7, 365. Okay, we had folks that were working on Thanksgiving. Now Dale came in and fed them. He gave them some turkey and mac and cheese and whatnot. But yeah, they were working on Thanksgiving. That shows that you're committed to the company, that you have that work ethic. So that's an intangible that you can work on. You can work on your communication. Okay, so you have to take interactions throughout your entire shift. So that's going to be helpful to you no matter what job that you're in. All right, so take that as a learning opportunity. I think it helps you on the intangible piece.
I will say one more thing. You said it triggered me. A lot of companies, no matter how much paper you have behind you, degrees, certifications, one of the first things it says is minimum 2 years experience in the IT field.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you have all this certification, but you don't have the experience, how are you going to get in the door? So a help desk job, while some people may not like it, A lot of people find out it's not as bad as what they thought either, because it keeps them, it keeps them pumped up, and there's a lot of things you can learn. But they start gaining that experience, and now I can walk in and say, which was what I started with this morning earlier, is I now have 2 years experience, or I have almost 2 years experience, but I've been in the IT field, I'm working, doing things. And when they start looking at the things that you can write down that you've done as a part of that help desk opportunity, they say, okay, you do have some experience. Because again, you know, Kyle sees me interview and people come in and they're like, yeah, I want a job. And okay, explain to me what an AD is and what it does for you. I have no idea. Explain to me, you know, how do you ping an IP address and what are some of the things, you know, how do you configure and deconfigure an IP and change your IP? I have no idea. Well, you learn all that stuff as part of the help desk. You know, so you know, it's not just taking calls. You're physically doing IT work. Because you got to remember, we are the IT company for the companies that are calling into us. They no longer have an IT staff on site. They're calling us and we're their IT staff. So we are an outsourced IT provider. So you are physically doing IT work. The last thing I'll share is, because you specifically said, and you mentioned it too, but you said cybersecurity. Going back to can you flip your slide one back? One more. Okay, one more. Personal brand. Part of that brand is knowing what you're putting out into the marketplace. If you're going to get into the cybersecurity, there's a good chance that you're going to need a clearance. Okay? And I will tell you that getting a clearance and maintaining a clearance are some of the hardest things you ever have to do. So you need to be aware of what you're putting on social media. You know, I had a guy, top secret clearance. The security officer, the GSO came in and said, we need you to pull this guy in. We pulled him in, they told him, we're suspending your clearance. Why? Because he thought it was funny at a party that he went to the weekend before. He doesn't do drugs. We tested, he was clean, but he had a picture holding a bong, and he was acting like he was hitting a bong, and they pulled his clearance for that. He lost his job over something so stupid. And he doesn't even do drugs. Okay? Finances is another big one from a clearance perspective. So I'm not going to go into all that. I just wanted to throw it out there. The personal brand is more than just showing up and looking good. It's about everything you do online, because when it comes to clearance time or cybersecurity type stuff, they're going to dig into your background. And they're going to want to know everything about you, because they're trusting you with some of the most important. You think Target made mistakes? I mean, you look at all these companies out there, you know, and an average security breach nowadays is in the multi-million-dollar range, right? I mean, and some of the biggest companies have been hit. Equifax, you know, 250 million users got impacted by that. Probably a lot of people in this room. So be aware of what you're doing, because your personal brand is everything in the IT field. Absolutely.
Are you guys going to be offering internship opportunities?
Okay,
For the
so
on-the-job
That's a great
experience?
question.
yeah, that's a great question. I don't have an answer for you quite yet, but what I can tell you is that we have an HR team offsite on the 19th, and that's one of the topics that we're going to be discussing. So I'll have some more.
The answer is we're working on it.
Okay.
There are going to be opportunities.
Yeah,
I think-
yeah, it would be extremely beneficial to us.
Right.
We just got to figure out, you know, how to work out the kinks.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's definitely something that we
Me and Jenny are more than happy to help you iron that stuff out too. We've got the knowledge bombs.
Appreciate
But
that.
our students, bar none, one of their biggest complaints is that they don't get enough hands-on experience here in the classroom, even though we are very tactical.
Yeah.
They need more.
And one of the other things that we talked about is, again, Kyle mentioned earlier, part-time, right? So we understand people are in school full-time. They can't really pull a full-time job. So we're getting very creative with our hiring schedules, doing 4-hour blocks, doing split shifts to allow people to come in and work. If you want a full-time job, but you're in school in the middle of the day, we're looking at how we can let you come in for a few hours. If you have that block in the beginning, then leave to go to school, and then come back. And that's where, again, the benefit of having a work from home opportunity is, because then you can go to school and then work from home, so you don't have to be out twice, you know. So we're looking at a lot of those opportunities. So if you're interested in a part-time opportunity just to gain that skill set, we're definitely willing to talk to you. So.
And we
I do want to interject here also on that, and that is a part-time job. When we started talking about, you know, your work experience in the industry, it asked, how many years were you in this job, or how many months were you in this job? And you put down, well, I worked for ABC for 18 months. Well, you were in school and you were part-time, and you only worked 20 hours a week. guess what? That's still 18 months of experience,
A practical experience.
of practical experience. Even though that was all part-time, that's still 18 months on that scale.
That's right. In the industry that you're trying to, in the industry that you're trying to get certifications. And I love it when somebody comes to me and says, yeah, I mean, I was only working a part-time job because I was in school, but then I was doing this in the evening or doing this during the day, then going to school. But it's matched. You know, I was doing the job that I was going to school for.
Mhm.
I mean, I'll eat them up every day. I mean, those are the greatest people in the world. So, yes, sir.
So, when you're like looking into hiring, like let's say we still in school, there is a minimum degree I have to be doing. Or I'm going for now, I'm going for the work ready technical job, so it's a technical certificate basically. Is that something that you still be considering, or I have to be looking into an associate or bachelor degree?
No.
Right now, for our service desk, we just require a high school degree or a GED. That's what our standard is right now. That is also something that we might be tweaking and looking at as well. But for right now, that's the minimum that we're looking at.
Yeah, well, I mean, because I have a bachelor degree from back home. I'm from Jordan, so
Okay.
I've been here for like about 7 years. But I have a bachelor's degree from there. It's basically like in translation and interpreting. But right now, that's why I went toward going to.
One of our managers is from Morocco, and it was in the exact same situation. His degrees are international. Is that right?
Yep.
And we don't have a problem with that. So, and the other aspect is what I said in the beginning, we will help you and help steer you in the right direction, but also help you with the certifications outside of the degree plan. We have a tuition reimbursement process too, but we help you with some of the certifications. And that was a big topic in our offsite. We had an executive offsite yesterday, and we talked about what can we do better, how can we do more to help our employees get the certifications and the degrees that they want. So yeah, that's not a problem. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, since you mentioned in your presentation about having teamwork skills and communication skills, one of the places where there's a good opportunity to grow and learn in that is your local Toastmasters club, that they can really help you with that. And they're all over the city, all different times of the day, and it's helped me a lot. So
I'm a 6-year Toastmaster.
Right.
All the way up to the division director, or division governor, I think you call it now. So I am well aware of the Toastmasters, and I would agree. Toastmasters is a great way to pick up those speaking and those communication skills that you need.
All right,
Any other questions? You gotta go?
one more question, because we do have to go, have to come in there.
So to even get like your foot in the door at the level 1 help desk, you guys, it seems like you guys really value the prior work experience,
So that's a great question. It's the one we've been talking about a lot lately. So the answer is it depends, right? If you have zero work experience because you're a recent high school grad, we take that into consideration. If you've been out in the marketplace a while, what we're going to do is look at the types of jobs you had and how long you stayed there. So.
And one important thing with the service desk as well is what clients that we're helping to support. Some clients, require very little technical experience, and we've seen people come in with very little experience and be successful. Other clients, they have to have a high degree of technicality, and we want to make sure that we're putting people in successful spots. So it all depends. You won't do yourself a disservice if you have on-the-job experience, real-world experience, and degrees and certs. Okay, I know that we got to get out of here, so I just want to say cheers.